Okay, I need you guys to get out the 3, 4, 5 review worksheet. That is the last thing in your package. Yes? 3, 4, 5 review worksheet. I am going to skip the first few problems here, and I'm going to come all the way down and do these review ones first. Okay? We're going to go over all of these story problems from 3, 5 because I feel like these are truly the problems where you guys struggle the most. Okay? So we're going to start on the second page of your review worksheet. The second page of your review worksheet, I do believe.
It's the first one.
It's the back of the front page, okay. All right, so let's talk about number 13, okay? These ones you guys should be getting pretty good at, but you need to make sure that you're understanding what has been given to you, all right? So when you are doing this, the very first thing your brain would see is that you are continuously compounding. It's a savings account. You are compounding continuously. So PERT is the equation that you're utilizing. Are we good back there?
Yeah, I accidentally took my other paper out of my binder.
Bad choice.
I thought it was my notes.
Okay. Initial investment. What letter in that formula does that represent?
P.
It represents P. What about $12,953.26? What does that represent? A, the balance. And then after T years, what does that represent?
N.
It is 10. What does it represent?
R. Oh, wait, no, T.
Time. Okay? So now I have P, T, and A. What do I not know?
R.
So that's what we're going to solve for. Okay? So I'm going to have 12,953.26 is equal to 5,125 e to the 10r. Okay, so how do I solve this? What do I do?
Divided by 5,000.
So 12,953.26 divided by 5,125 is equal to e to the 10r. How do I get 10r out of the exponent position?
Multiply by natural log.
Yeah.
Natural log of both sides. So if we're doing the natural log of both sides, that's going to be the natural log of 12,953.26 over 5,125 is equal to 10r. Yes? How do I solve for r?
Divide by 10.
So I have this ugly number, which is just a number. That's all this is. It is just a number. And we're dividing that whole thing by 10. So I come over to Desmos. And I'm going to type in there ln of 12,953.26. Is that correct? Divided by 5,125. Can I get a yes on that?
Yes.
And then I'm going to divide all of that by 10. And what percentage rate am I getting?
9%.
9.27 or 9.3, whichever one's still the same thing. So this is going to be 0.0927 is equal to R, which is going to give me an interest rate of 9.3 or 9.27%. When you are doing your test, I will put on there in red what I want you to round to. And I think I told you to round to 2 decimal places there, okay? So be very careful and make sure that you are paying attention to that. So now that I know what my interest rate is, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to put 9.27%. Now I want to know the time to double. What is the formula for the time to double?
2P equals P-E-R-T.
Tell me the shortened one. What happens to those P's? So what's my formula?
2 equals E-R-T.
2 is equal to ERT, okay? So now I know 2. I know my rate, which is 0.927, and I need the time that it's going to take for that to happen. So how do I get rid of the variable in the exponent position?
Natural log.
Yep, so I take the natural log of both sides, and I'm going to get 0.927 is times t. How do I solve for that? Divide by that, so the natural log of 2 divided by 0.0927 is equal to the time. Yes? So I come over here and I type natural log of 2, and that's going to be divided by 0.0927, sorry. And how long does it take for it to double my money?
7.48 years.
7.48 years is fine. likes my money to double. Do we understand that, yes or no?
Yes.
So as you do these problems, it's super important that you are labeling the numbers that you are getting according to the formula. Any questions? Okay, next. Number 18. Number 18 is the isotope problems. Everyone stay with me, are you ready? Number 18, you do not need the isotope. It's not even necessary. It's there to mess with your head. What formula do we use when we are talking about isotopes? Q of T
Equals K.
is equal to CERT.
What's the one we use for K's population, right?
K is usually a population, absolutely. Good job. Okay? So Q of T is equal to CERT is always going to be talking about my isotope issues, okay? Now, half-life in years. What does that mean?
How long it takes for it to
1/2, 1/2.
Okay, so that means that we're talking about 1/2 is equal to ERT. That is the half-life. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And this says it's years, so what do we know that 3,760 is going to represent? Which is what in this formula, sir?
T,
Time. It is your time in that formula, right? That's how many years it takes. It is the time. And that is really a struggle for you guys because you see years, but sometimes your brain doesn't connect the huge number to time, so be very careful. Next, I have 7.5 grams as the initial quantity. What is that going to represent? What letter?
C.
That represents C. Okay, so what do we not know?
Rate.
We don't know the rate. Which one do I have to use to find the rate?
ln2 over.
I have to use the half-life formula of 1/2 is equal to ERT. So how do I'm going to plug in what I know. 1/2 is equal to e to the 3760r. 3760r. Yes? I have to solve for r now.
Natural log.
Natural log of both sides. So the natural log of 1/2 is equal to 3,760r. Divide. So I have the natural log of 1/2 divided by 3760 is equal to my rate. Now remember, when you're dealing with the isotopes, your rates are ridiculously small. And if you only round to the second decimal, you are not going to get a change. It's going to be 0%. You with me? So you have to copy the entire rate so that you can see a significant change. So we are going to come back over here and we're going to type in the natural log of 1/2. Maybe.
Oh.
I think I'm going to move so I can see it better, sorry. Divided by 3760?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is my rate. So negative 0.30 is 1843. Negative 0.30 is 1843 is equal to my rate. Why is it negative?
Because it's declining.
Because it's declining. Slowly the isotope is dissipating, right? So it has to be declining. So now that we found our rate, what am I going to do with that rate?
Plug it into the circle.
I need to know the amount after 1,000 years. What is 1,000 representing here?
Time.
Time. So I'm going to come right over here and I'm going to put C, which is 7.5. E, my rate is negative 0.1230 is 1843 times 1,000. Yes? Yeah? So I'm going to come up back over to Desmos, 7.5 E raised to the parenthesis. You're going to come up and click on this, Control C to copy, click back in the exponent position, paste Control V times 1,000, and hit enter. How much of the isotope is left?
6.24 grams.
6.24 grams. And is that a logical amount left?
Yeah.
If it took 3,760 years to create half of the 7.5 grams, absolutely. That is an extremely logical answer for only after 1,000 years. Do we understand the isotope problems? Yes? Okay. Next is going to be our lovely little population problems. Now, when we talk about population, you guys need to make sure that you're reading the material and you're pulling out points. Yes? So as we read this, The population P of Nashville, Tennessee is given by P is equal to 570,434 e to the kt, where t equals 0 represents the year 2000. So I immediately think, okay, so here's 0 and here's 2000. In 1998, oh, well, that's down here. The population was 455,651. If 0 is 2000, what's 1980?
Negative 20.
Negative 20. Do we all see that? Yes? Okay, so what's the first ordered pair that I should pull out?
Negative 20.
455,000.
The one that starts with 4.
Negative 20, 455,651. That is 1 point. What was the other point that was automatically in there?
0, 5,070, 434.
Yes. Now, why does she know that in the population in 2000 was 570,434? It doesn't say that in the problem. How does she know that? If I were to put in a 0 right in there for t, anything times 0 is 0, and 0 as an exponent means that's a 1, correct? So therefore, that means that when the population was at year 2000, meaning at t was 0, that the population was 570,434 people. Yes? Okay, now, realistically speaking, we do not need this point because we have already utilized it, correct? So what we do know is time is negative 20. What's the 455,651 represent in this problem right here? It represents P, so let's go ahead and say that. So we're going to have 455,651 is equal to 570,434 E. And then what is K? Do we know it?
No.
And what is T?
Negative 20.
Negative 20K. We have to find K in this situation. It is the rate at which my population is growing or decaying. And in this situation, is my rate inclining or declining? Increasing, right? It's increasing. I have an incline there. Yes, it's growing. All right? So how do I solve this? What do I do first?
Divide.
Yes, so 455,651 divided by 570,434 is equal to e to the negative 20k. Keep going.
Divide by negative. Oh wait, no, natural log first.
Very good. So now I'm going to take the natural log of this. And that's equal to negative 20k. Now what?
Divide by negative 20.
Take that and divide it by negative 20. So what is k going to equal? Well, let's go ahead and find that out. So the ln parenthesis of 455,651, can I get a confirmation on that?
Yep.
Divided by 570,434?
Yeah.
Thank you. Dividing that by now negative 20. Why is my rate positive?
Because it's inclining.
Because we have an increase. And what percentage would that be?
1.
About 1%. So in the last 20 years, if we look at this documentation and we look at just these 2 years that they gave us, the exponential model is the population is about increasing 1% every year. Does that make sense? That's the rate at which it's increasing. So I'm going to have a 0 point or 0.1123. That is my rate at which it's increasing. And then predict the population in 2020. Okay, well here's 2020. What number is that going to be?
20.
It is going to be 20. So all you're going to do now is you are going to say, okay, P is equal to 570,434 e to the 0.01123 times 20. And then pop out a number. Does that make sense? And that'll give you your population. Are we all okay?
Yep.
Yes? Okay, next. These are going to be our earthquake problems with intensity versus Richter scale. Okay? First, I want to point out Fiji's Islands is spelled correctly.
Yeah.
Proud of me. Thank you all. Appreciate that. Secondly, I want to say that you have this formula right here. However, do I need the I sub 0?
No.
What is I sub 0?
One.
Why is I sub 0 1?
Because
It can't be 0.
Because it can't be 0, because when you divide by 0, it changes the entire problem. It's not possible. So the lowest minimum intensity that you can have is at a value of 1. So therefore, what you are constantly utilizing is R is equal to log of I, where R is the Richter scale reading, and I is the intensity of the earthquake itself. What is the base of this logarithm?
10.
10. So from here, you have two problems. You're either plugging in and you knowing what the Richter scale is, part A, or you know what the intensity is, part B. Super easy. So this is a 6.7 is equal to, why did I write that as an I instead of an L?
Yeah, that's why I was looking at it.
Huh, sometimes. I really struggle. We know this about me. So at this point, you should be able to write that as an exponential and solve. And for down here, same concept, except for this time they give you the intensity of 501187. Yes? And that you can plug straight into the calculator and get an answer right back out. Yes? Super easy. Okay, the last one we're going to talk about today is going to be this one. And honestly, folks, we have lived this. You have seen this. This goes down in history as part of your life. Yes? Okay, number 23. On a college campus of 5,000 students, one student returns from vacation with a contagious flu virus. The spread of the virus is modeled by y is equal to 5,000 over the quantity 1 plus 499, 999 e to the negative 0.82 t. And t must be greater than or equal to 0. Y is the total number infected after t days. The college will cancel classes when 35% or more of the students are infected. How many students are infected after day 8? What are you going to do in part A?
Plug in 8.
So t is equal to 8, plug and chug, you're golden. Okay, let's talk about part B. After how many days will the college cancel classes? Well, when will the college cancel classes?
After 35% more.
Well, how many is by student body?
5,000 and 9,000.
So 5,000 times 0.35 is what we need to know. So I come back over here and I say 5,000 times 0.35 gives you 1,750. So I need to know when I'm going to have 1,750 students infected with the contagious flu. Make sense?
Yeah.
There are two ways you can do this problem. I'm going to show you both ways. Because a lot of times you guys just forget, and I'm always going to ask for the algebra, correct? Yes, sir.
Can you just plug and chug it?
You can if you look at the calculator, but you're going to have to do a lot of guess and check. I guess there's 3 ways. See, my brain never even thought to guess and check like that.
Oh, that's what I do.
Because my brain immediately thinks algebra or graphing calculator. So let's talk about the graphing calculator. So whenever we go to Desmos, we're going to enter in this equation. So immediately I'm going to enter in 5,000 divided by the quantity 1 plus 4,999 e raised to the negative 0.08. Was it 0.08 or 0.8?
Negative 0.
Y'all are killing me here. No 0, just 1. Just 1. I'm like, y'all are killing me. But the t is going to turn to an x because t cannot be seen in Desmos, and I'm going to hit enter. Now, the second one is y is equal to 1,750. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom down so that I can see where these two graphs intersect. Do we see that? And then I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And I want to see where those two graphs intersect. What does t represent in the story problem?
Days.
Days. And what does y represent?
The amount of students.
The amount of students infected. So that means that 9.872 represents the number of days, and 1,750 represents the number of students. So after 9.872 days, I now will have 1,750 students infected with the virus. Yes, sir.
Do you round that to a whole number?
Now that's what I'm going to talk to you about. If I have this being days and this being students, folks, we can only have day 9 and 10 days. It's one or the other. At day 9, am I going to have enough students infected yet? No, because you have to go almost 3/4 of the way through your day before all 1,750 would be actually infected. Would that make sense? Yes, sir.
That's more than 3/4.
Yeah. The 0.8, yes, I understand, but I was being on the conservative side, but thank you. All right, so this does not give me, on day 9, does not give me the 1,750 students reached. So how many days will it have to be before they will cancel?
10.
On day 10, you are canceling classes. Do we see this?
Yes.
Day 10, class is canceled. Does that make sense? Okay? Now, that's a beautiful thing. How do you do that algebraically?
You don't, you put it in the calculator.
No, you do it algebraically.
Just plug in.
So let's do that. So we're going to go right back to this, and I'm going to write down this formula. So this is y is equal to 5,000 over 1 plus 4,999 e to the negative 8.8t. Yes?
Yeah.
What does y have to be, though? Y, because that's how many you have to cancel class, right? That's 35% of my population. Well, bring this up here, multiply it. Yeah? How do I get rid of the 1750? I would. I'm not going to distribute. I'm too lazy. So this is going to be 1 plus 499 e to the negative 0.8t. Then I'm going to take this number, and I'm going to divide it by 1750. How do I get rid of this 1?
Why did you switch to 5,000 and then 1,750?
I didn't.
Can you also slow
Yeah,
down just a little
No,
bit?
I didn't. Yeah.
Thank
You put 1,750.
That's what y is.
So you, right, but you put equals 5,000.
I cross multiplied.
Oh,
Okay.
write it down though.
Okay. It's the same thing.
Sorry, I didn't
Okay.
say that.
All right. Now, if we divide by 1750, we're going to get this. How do I get rid of this 1? We'll just subtract this 1 over there. So that goes away. So then I have this. Who cares that this is ugly? It's just some ugly number. It's okay. Desmos does all that calculation for you. That's still just one big ugly number. How do I get rid of this 49999? Sure. So e to the negative 0.82t is equal to this number, all divided by this. How do I get rid of the exponent? Take the natural log. So that's negative 0.8t is equal to the natural log of this god-awful number. But again, it's just a number that I'm too lazy to jump into the calculator and calculate. Now, how do I get rid of the negative 0.8? Right. So I have this god-awful, ridiculous number.
I like the other way more.
I'm sure you do like the other way more, but you know what I like? I like you to be able to do it both directions. So if I come over here and type this into Desmos, I have ln of 5,000 divided by 1750 minus 1 divided by 4,999, yes? And then all of that divided by negative 0.8, yes?
Well, that is ugly.
Hey, looky there. 9.87. Is that what we got before?
Man, that thing looks like one of them, Russian dolls.
All it is, it's a fraction within a fraction within a fraction within a fraction. Okay? But what you're bringing us to understand is those are all just numerical calculations. I just didn't want to spend the time putting each numerical calculation in there, getting a decimal, then doing that calculation, and then doing it over and over and over again whenever I can do it one time. Right?
You need to put that on your ugly sweater.
Right?
Don't
it's a great one.
please.
Do we understand that? Now, here's the beautiful thing about this. If you come back up to our equation, you hit table, I guess the guess and check that he was talking about was all possible too. Day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
That's a big jump.
So at what day did I obviously have to cancel school? Day 10.
That's what I would have done.
Does that make sense? Okay? So there's 3 ways that I just showed you to do that. Okay? If I ask for the algebra, give me the algebra. If I don't ask for the algebra, show me and tell me what you did to get your answer. Any questions on that at all now? Yes.
Wait, are you done?
No, I'm with this problem. Are we good with the story problem section for 3.5?
Yep.
Is there any questions on 3.4 on the review that you would like me to do? We feeling good? Okay, the test is on Monday. You need to have 3.4 worksheet 1, 3.5 worksheet 1, Math Excel for 3.4, 3.5, and the review worksheet. That's 4 of them. Yes? That is all of the review worksheet.